our guests. His flight got canceled yesterday. We've been trying to get him here. He's now in Vancouver, so he will be here for the drag show tonight.
Oh, okay.
So I am the official MC for this one, but I'm not the one that's important here. We have our wonderful local talent joining us on stage today. And so to my right, we have Shoot. Is that right? Perfect. Round of applause. All right, Bella Valentina. And Karaoke Dokie. Awesome. This is the very first year that we are doing an official drag show at Anirevo. So hopefully everybody that's here now is going to be coming to see it. It is an 18+ event, of course. I'll be doing a song in it as well, just as an interval act. So, but I'm not going to be in there. So, anyway, welcome everybody. I hope you're having a great time. Have you been busy all Friday so far? Been down to vendors, that kind of stuff? Awesome. I'm the one that does the scheduling, and you may have seen me at the opening ceremonies. I do some performances as well. So. And if you come to the bar versus the audio panel tomorrow, I'll be welcome.
Yeah. Sorry, when is the drag show?
The drag show is at 5:30 today. It's in the next room over, 109, so you want to check that out. All right, guys, so let's get things started here. I got a few questions for you. Just the basic stuff to start with. What got you into drag? And was it cosplay that came first or drag that came first? Do you want to start?
Sorry. So I have a really deep, dark secret. I got my start doing drag or cosplay in 2016 here at Anirevo. It's a deep, dark secret. I was a weeaboo. I was garbage. I'm kidding. But yeah, so I was like really young, and because I'm still young now. So, and back in 2016, I was like still petite. I don't know, how old was I? Like 13, 14, something there. And I put on the blush, a whisper of lash, like a mascara, and a pleated mini skirt. And people called me transphobic slurs because it was 2016. I didn't have any convention. What? It's better now, right? We support the trans. Wait, what? Yeah, we have the president of all trans people right now. But yeah, so cosplay came first for me, and then I started realizing I wanted to construct my own character. So I always say that drag for me is basically LARPing, because I just took it too far. Or the logical conclusion of just like, now I don't cosplay other people's characters, I cosplay my own character. So I do sometimes cosplay other people's characters.
Oh, is it me? Yes. Okay. Testing. Oh my goodness. Hi. How y'all doing? This is my first Anirevo. Can you believe it? I know that you're like, what's happening? Honored to be here. Very excited. Let's jump into it. So I started doing drag first. That was in 2016. I actually lived in Whitehorse in Yukon.
Oh
my. Of all places. Who said, oh my god? I did. So I started doing drag up north, and it was just kind of like an outlet to play around with gender identity. I hadn't really had access to the medical care that I do in Vancouver, which we love that. We love love that. Did drag for a couple of years before I moved here. And then maybe 2018 was when I started doing drag again more seriously. I took a little bit of a break. Cosplay was something that I had in my brain, loved the idea, didn't really know where to go. Didn't really have a lot of friends that were into it. You move to a new city, you don't know anybody anyway. So I have friends now. I have a couple of them. I'm surrounded by them today, which is great. So cosplay came for me second. I would say more seriously after the pandemic, I hosted a show for the Rec Room as well as a few clubs downtown called Villains with my co-host, Jo DeRay. So she also does some cosplay. Give it up for Jo DeRay.
Love Jo DeRay.
She's not here, but we'll pretend. And it was, I'm more of a video game person. I do love anime, but I'm an old millennial, so it's a lot of Sailor Moon, it's a lot of Pokemon, it's a lot of the classics. But video games are still important, and that was more my cultural impact came from things like RuneScape. And
yeah!
To entertain you the whole time. So I'm a RuneScape tran. That's kind of my background and how I especially since I've been sort of dealing with more like gender-affirming care surgeries. It's like I get to play a few more of the characters that I really love. So more of my cosplay characters that I really stick with nowadays would be like Evelyn from League of Legends. So specifically KDA Evelyn. Yes. And then, I mean, yeah, Evangelion, of course. Why not?
Yeah.
Skin tight bodysuit, and that's been kind of the segue into what I do now. So yeah, cosplay came after drag, for sure.
Hi. My first time doing any type of panel, and I'm actually a baby drag. But I have been in the cosplay scene for actually over 2 decades.
Wow.
I started cosplaying when I was about 11 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was mostly, dressing up as princesses, and like Princess Peach and stuff like that. And then I was like, that's not really for me. So I actually started cosplaying males, and that's what started me dressing up as men. And then I was like, hey, I'm basically doing drag. And Jeremy asked me if I wanted to perform, and I was like, might as well give it a shot.
Yes, we love our drag queens.
These are great stories. I love that. We have a little of everything. Wonderful. Yes, yes, yes. All right, and tell us about your very first show. I mean, obviously, this is going to be your first show.
It's going to be amazing.
Do you guys have some fun stories about your very first show?
Carrie's full of them. I'm chatty Cathy. So I always flip-flop between when I want to claim was my beginning of drag and cosplay. So you could say that I think 2018 and Anirevo Walk Off was my first show. Do they still do Walk Off or is that dead?
I think
Did
it die?
Oh, R.I.P. Walk Off. R.I.P. Walk Off. But anyways, so yeah, I think I did like a 2018 Walk Off or lip sync. No, it was a lip sync competition, never mind here. I was dressed up as Princess Peach and I did Lady Gaga's Born This Way, and it was okay. But I do like to proper claim my first drag performance was when I went to UBC. I used to host a show called UBC Drag. It was really, has anyone been to UBC Drag? That's kind of a deep cut.
No.
No, yeah, it's dead too, R.I.P. But yeah, so like I dressed up in my bubble tea dress because I make almost all of my own costumes, humble brag. Oh, thank you. I'm actually going to see costuming in September, so that'll be fun. But yeah, so I did Leslie Gore's The Bubble Broke, and I had like a bubble machine, and like I was really happy I did drag when like I was doing drag for like 5 years until my first like official performance, which was great because I basically came onto the scene with like I could do my own makeup, I could style my own hair, I could sell my own costumes, and I'm not going on stage looking a fool like our friend will be doing later. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's part of the process of drag. You start looking so bad, and in the words of one of my favorite drag performers in the city, Bonganisa, you just keep on doing it, and then all of a sudden one day, you look good.
It's me again. Oh my goodness. Hi, it's me. Oh, it's like I never left. First performance. Okay, so I said I started in Yukon. Imagine that. You're in a bar, it's snowing, it's February, there's not many people there. I did a lip sync competition in the middle of the night to, I believe it was Sweet Nothing, Florence Welch and Calvin Harris. Very good song. Not really something that you want to do for the first time when nothing fits, when the wig is not attached, when the corset is not tightened all the way. It was something, like Carrie said, you just keep doing it until you look good. I opted for the surgical route. So, yeah, it was expensive, but you know what, it did pay off in the end.
Look at the material.
Look at the material. So, I would say that's my first memory of like being in drag. My drag mother was originally from the Philippines. Shout out, anybody from Filipino? Yes! Go off. So, they moved from Manila, of all places, to Whitehorse. So, you can imagine. But you know what? Low taxes, good money, good healthcare, it was tea. So we both worked in the beauty industry, Shoppers Drug Mart, we worked in the beauty boutique, and they just wanted to put me in drag one night, and it happened, and that lip sync happened. There are some physical photos, there are no digital photos. I have erased whatever I can, but the internet is forever. If you search hard enough, you will find something. But that was my first experience with drag. I didn't really have much context of what it was like. I think season 6 of Drag Race was like my first seeing it on TV outside of like the Birdcage. Anyone know that movie?
Yes, love the
thank you.
Birdcage.
I'm looking directly at you because you're like nodding, and I'm like, thank you. Somebody else gets it.
So you just queer history, just ignore the cultural appropriation in the first 10
Yes,
minutes.
very much that. All movies don't age very well. Let's be real. So I think that was the first experience like in drag, but first experience being out in like cosplay was definitely in Vancouver. It was probably the Villains show at 1181, if you know where that is in the Village. That was as Evelyn. So that was Evelyn from KPA, from League of Legends, and other characters that have kind of come out of that. I did Jupiter for Fan Expo, so that was kind of my main out and about. I'm like not in the drag scene, I'm in the cosplay scene now. I like to pretend, but I'm low-key an imposter, so welcome me anyway. I will love you. Yeah, that's like, those are my two major experiences. First being out and about.
All right, now you mentioned, I just have to touch on this, because I'm a massive Sailor Moon fan.
Okay.
Who's your favorite?
Who was my favorite? Jupiter. I look like Jupiter. Come on now. It was Jupiter. I guess I did I say it was Jupiter to begin with? The one that I did? Thank you for nodding. I'm like, I'll keep you keep me in check. But I would say I'm very close to finishing Saturn as well. So that's another one I really love. Little cunty black blob.
And how about you guys? Sailor Moon fans?
Yeah, I grew up very much on Sailor Moon as a little girl, and actually, Eva was my favorite.
I watched clips of like that live action one. And like I'd see those divas doing the tricks and flips and I sigh and wish I was there. But other than that, I've thought about watching it. Does that count? Well, I was like, I should watch this probably.
Watch the original, though, the voice.
Okay, the original, that's good to know. The cultural heritage. I mean, I love the concept of a magical girl. I haven't watched any magical girl shows. Clips of the Doka Magica at least. That's trauma.
So on the cosplay aspect of things, what were some of your very first cosplays and how they kind of evolved into working with your drag stuff?
My first cosplay was from a show called Kiss Him, Not Me. So that's bad. Thank you for gasping. It was bad. It was dark times, kids. Dark times. But I was like, that was the lesbian Cody character. My friend forgot to order my wig for me, so I didn't have a wig. I did not look like the character at all. But I did my best, and that's all that matters. It was like, it was the vibes of the character.
The essence of the
The
character.
essence, shit essence all.
I mean, I kind of already spoke on some of my characters. I lean a lot into like femme fatale from video game realms. So like my number one, and I'm surprised I didn't mention her to begin with. I almost brought her today. She was going to be for the drag show, but she's a lot to pack. Is Bayonetta. Yes, that is the appropriate response. So there's that. She
Which
is my
outfit?
mom. She is the one. She is who I want to be. I got married 2 years ago, and our first dance was to the pole dance ending from the first game. So Fly Me to the Moon. It was fierce. It was fierce. And I walked down the aisle to the Great Fairies Fountain. So you can see it. It runs deep. I promise. I promise. I love them so dearly. Yeah, Evelyn, Bayonetta, I would say I've done my RuneScape character a couple of times. I have done Ray, Evangelion, I do Jupiter, I do Ash from Final Fantasy XII, my diva, love her very much. Who else? I'm working on Saturn. Starts floating in my house. Oh, you'll see her later today, but I also do a mean Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Yes. Not really animated, but we'll pretend. Polygons count. Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind, but I'm sure more will pop into my head as we go along. But
I like how I fully forgot to actually answer the second part of the question.
answer it
So I'm
now.
gonna answer it now. Yeah, so other than that horrible Kiss Him Not Me cosplay, I currently do now, I have have a Litwood cosplay in that suitcase over there. So love Gen 5. I hope it remakes it. And then one of my favorite cosplays I do is Jogo Coffee from Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was really fun. I actually did that character for a drag competition and made it to semifinals because of Jogo Coffee. Thank you. And then I've done Princess Peach cosplay, which was like my first cosplay. I was like, wow, this is actually good. And it wasn't that good. Like, it was like the first dress I made, and you know, I had the big drag makeup, so I looked distinct, which was nice. Then one year I did Vice from Ruby. That's another bad one. Dark Time. No, I do hear Ruby's getting better at least. So, you know, good for that diva. R.I.P. Rooster Teeth. But like, yeah, so I remember that one was rough. I just learned how to cover my brows, and they looked like oatmeal. And but people, because I was like with a bunch of other Ruby cosplayers who were much better than me, I was just forced to stand outside and like by the front entrance for like 15 minutes as people took photos of us. So there's so many photos of like me looking busted, like literally the glue of my eyebrow peeling in the daytime with a smoky eye and a dream. But yeah, and then of course today I have Mary Poppins, so that's fun. What else characters? It's very cute. It was my first time working with sheer fabrics, and it was a nightmare. Okay, on to you.
Like I said earlier, my first cosplay was actually Princess Peach, and it was terrible.
Oh my gosh, that
It
is.
was so bad. Like, I went to Value Village and found a dress, and it was way too big for me.
Rather than too small.
Yes. And it was like falling down, and I didn't know about wigs back then, so I had my natural black hair.
And what? Gone Princess Peach.
Yeah, it was so bad, but people knew who it was. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I look back at it, and I'm like, that's where it all started. And like now,
Like, look at this.
Look at the material.
Look at the material. Mother.
yeah, and like, when I started cosplaying men, I was like, wow, these are actually a lot more comfortable. And then I got into Genshin.
Yeah, this black hole.
Yeah, so then I started cosplaying a lot of like Hoyoverse characters, of course, daddies. And then actually I got into Has-Been Hotel, so lots of people actually recognize me as Lucifer most of the time. Yeah, Hell's daddy. And he's actually been revamped, and I can't wait to wear him again. I'm not sure when, probably in the winter time, I'll bring him back. I don't know yet. We'll see, but I've got a really nice corset top. Yes, right in.
You're like talking about all the materials. My last cosplay was a transformer, and it was foam core and a dream. and the like that flexible spray plate. I don't remember what it was called, but I googled it apparently, and I was
Plastidip.
Plastidip. That diva was more expensive than I thought, but you know, she worked great for foam.
So I haven't done drag per se, but I've done crossplay. And Sailor Moon, Queen Beryl, and I forget the character's name, but she's the main character from Magical Girl Boy. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It's about a girl that becomes a magical girl, but when she transforms, she becomes a man dressed.
Oh my gosh, I watched 3 episodes of that.
Yeah, it's an
Oh,
interesting.
that.
But I cannot do makeup. I like tears in my eyes. I had my friend have to sit on top of me to try to apply for this.
Yeah, I have the exact same problem.
And then
I wear a lot of white eyeliner now, but when I first started, I couldn't put on makeup without crying it all off because my eyes are so sensitive. Now, one time, I accidentally put an entire brush full of powder directly into my eye, and I just blinked it out like a diva, like it just wanted to go on. I've been trained. I'm gonna get clown lung and clown eye.
So one of the things I did in 2012, how many have been coming to AR since 2012? So you may remember this, I don't know. I was doing a show, I do my parody shows and stuff, and I was Queen Beryl, and I had to do a quick change into Link from The Legend of Zelda. I could not get the dress off, the zipper was stuck. So we have this thing playing, and it's finishing up, and I'm sitting there like, what do I do? Whatever. So I go out there, and I'm half Queen Beryl, half Link. So I love doing that kind of stuff. I think if I was like anything, like to maybe one of the rude roles per se, if I was to do drag, it would be Jimbo. Because like that kind of stuff, it doesn't bother me. I love that kind of stuff. I love making people laugh. You just go with the flow. The audience is amazing. Everybody's always, they just want to be entertained. Yeah. So can you tell us about any disasters that have ever happened? Like over the years, if you want to share this. Disaster.
I have no shame. One time, has anyone been to the Junction before? Yes. That is a queer person right there. You know what, you better act superior than all these people. I'm kidding. But anyways, definitely support Vancouver queer nightlife. But yeah, one time I thought I could do like a backward somersault in a corset. I could not. But I did it. I rolled and I got up. And what's better, it's really nice because I have the entire video of that performance and it's so fierce, and then I try to do a back roll and it's like, oh. Yeah. And then luckily I did drag it was just at my high school, so no one important saw me. And that was the one and only time I lost a wig in a performance. Other than, I always make sure I keep it on, because this is my real hair. I grew it right out of my scalp. You can't see this lace at all. Real hair.
Oh my god, disasters. When I started doing drag, again, Bonganisa's in my head, and do it till you're hot, do it something. I don't really mess around with wigs a lot, mostly because it's hot and uncomfortable, and my hairline, I got a big head. It's not happening. So even when I do bayonetta, it's giving redhead ponytail. I kind of, we subvert a little bit. We play around with it. I'm not straight on the money. I'm very open with my characters. As long as the essence is there, you gotta sell it, regardless. So when I was messing around with wigs, I remember my first performance at Chiquel, rest in peace Chiquel. That was a 1 a.m. drag show in the village, and it was basically a drop-in show. And it was my first time performing in drag, out and about, kind of my friends are coming out, whatever. And I have one of those heavy, synthetic, dark-rooted blonde wigs. Yeah, you can see where this is going. So I have it on, and thankfully it was an iPhone 6, so you don't see a lot of it. It's kind of blurred a little bit, but as I'm moving around, it's a 5-minute number. Because of course, when you're 22, you're I'm gonna do the most, and you're now that I'm over 30, I'm no. You're getting what you get, and it will be perfection, but you're getting what you get. And I remember feeling it slipping off, because I didn't know about lace glue at that time. Lace threads still weren't really even, they were just kind of coming into the scene, in Vancouver at least, and slowly creeping back. Oh, God. And that's probably the closest I can come to a disaster that's not just me being late or chaotic.
Yeah. Nothing running on drag time. I put my lashes on in the Uber here.
I like to get ready at the gig. That's also tea.
That is so tea.
Show up and get into my face there.
I wish I could do that, because there's something so humiliating being in full drag on the SkyTrain and just hoping no one talks to you.
Yeah, now that this have all done that too. I used to live out on 45th and Canby, and you would have to take the SkyTrain, or if you did the late show, you were walking home if you were not getting a cab. So you can imagine, I find a lot of the younger queens, at least I did, I don't know about nowadays, I feel people are smarter and they go through a shorter phase of boo-boo drag to hot, because they just have the internet and they see what's going on. They have tutorials. It's high school students, you see them and they're they don't look the way we did in high school. So I just remember not packing a comfortable shoe. Walking over Canby Bridge, it's either giving barefoot or it's giving a stripper shoe. And there was no in between. And now you travel with a comfortable shoe to switch into, and you walk around in the gig, and maybe even you do a little boot cover and you make a comfortable end sheet. But that was disaster.
But then cosplay in public transit is fine because every other person in this area is a weeaboo.
That's that's very true. You can travel in groups, which is great.
Yeah, it's a herd mentality. But a lot of the shows are really late, so then it's just me with the other club goers, and it's all these beautiful Asian divas, and then there's me painted like a club kid clown, and I'm just I'm gonna go lip sync to Kylie Minogue at the Junction.
Very bad. very bad. I put sunglasses on and I walked here, so which is firsthand, and I blend in a little bit, I guess. Tall, trans, I kind of stick out where I go, but
That's just
at
'cause
least
you're tall.
pretty.
Visibly stick out.
sometimes.
All the time.
Overhead lighting is not your friend. I'm sure we all know this.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
people
yeah.
love putting on the look. Overhead lighting in the convention center is sometimes not the
Oh my
one.
gosh, yeah, nothing worse.
Like you got it. We're on the same
Nothing
level.
worse is like, oh my god, can I take a picture of your cosplay? I love it. And it's in the artist alley. And it's just the gross and nastiest photo ever. And it's like, this is a PSA for cosplayers, anyone. Like, put the flash on the camera. Put the flash on, unless you have like epilepsy and you can't handle the flash. Put the flash on the camera and take the photo of the divas.
If you want to prevent future boo-boo drag, or you want to have a cute look, invest in one of those continuous lights from Amazon. I
Yeah.
forgot mine today, go figure, but you clip it on that phone and that will change your world. Yeah. But daytime, we're in here, sunny. So lean into the sun, get your angles, otherwise learn to use the archive button on your social media, and that will. That's how I've come to be what I am today. I archived a lot. My drag has changed a lot over the years. So disasters are done nowadays.
Me too, girl.
Actually,
My
I
Instagram is
just
archived.
had one this year at Fan Expo.
Oh no.
So I was volunteer Lucifer at Fan Expo, and just before my shift, I bent down to get my ID and
No.
ripped my hair.
No.
Right up from the knee all the way up to the crotch.
That's tough. Just say it's tough.
So I was literally freebirding it until I found pants.
That's nothing like the walk of shame to the Shoppers Drug Bar or whatever.
The worst is people were asking for photos.
Oh.
I was
So,
figuring out how to pose while hiding this giant rip in my pants.
Angles.
Exactly. And then it was like,
Crop that photo for them.
Yeah, exactly.
and then it was just shuffling slowly to the bathroom to change the pants. But that was the worst one I've actually had in 2 decades. So that's pretty good.
Professional.
Yeah.
I was on a show called Zoink. Do you guys remember that one? So I was trying out for Canada's Got Talent way back in the day. Didn't get chosen for it, but they did like a last try thing online. And didn't get chosen again, but the people from Zoink on YTV were like, hey, do you want to come on this show? We'll fly you out here, you get a free 3-day trip, you're on this show, we'll pay you $200. I was like, sure, why not? My hotel was like 5 minutes away from where they filmed today's special. For those of you that are old enough to know that one, that's about a department store, like where there's a mannequin at nighttime that comes alive. And, yeah, I was super happy about that. But I was on Zoink and I decided to wear a weird fusion of my Sephiroth costume and my Shuichi costume from Gravitation. They did not let me perform use my original music for my song, I guess for copyright stuff. And what it is a kid's show. So the kids are way above you and they're judging you. And they're fed what to say too. So if they don't like you, they have 30 seconds that they have to wait. And if one doesn't like you, they pull a lever and like confetti comes out. Another one doesn't like you, they pull a lever and then like those little soft balls from like when you go to an arcade. Third one pulls it and you get slimed. Well, guess who got slimed? Guess who didn't bring an extra pair of shoes either?
Oh no.
And guess whose cosplay was so messy it's still sitting in a garbage can?
Oh no. You still own it?
That's so evil. I just think of that video, I think it was like Miley Cyrus or like Katy Perry getting like blasted with Nickelodeon slime. And I'm just like, they are pressurizing those novels. And I mean, at least Katy Perry kind of deserved it now because space, but whatever.
Now, do you want to know what the slime is made of on these kids' shows?
What?
It's KY jelly.
Oh.
And so they stopped production, and everybody that works on there, from the producers, the direct, everybody has to grab towels, mops, whatever they have. They have to clean the stage, and then they can get ready for the next one. And then they make you 3 takes at the end. It's like you're either happy, or you're like really angry, or you're kind of just iffy, or whatever, and then they just randomly choose what they're going to do. And I never got an actual copy of the episode. All I have is on my YouTube channel. My friend happened to see it and he filmed it on his phone. And I asked him, I'm like, come on guys, but you know, one TV's kind of going under, unfortunately. So. But anyway, that's kind of my first cosplay disaster. But there's, anyway.
I think you win. I think you win.
But that to that story though too, when I ordered the Sephiroth costumes, that's one that I ordered online. They did not. It was pleather. They did not give a way to get out of it other than pulling it over your head. And Evolution 2010 is when I wore this, and it was a very, very hot summer. And my friend had to help me peel it off. It was disgusting. So luckily he can build stuff, so he put art like buttons and stuff, like clasps and stuff. But I got heat stroke. It was bad. And I was supposed to be hosting the idol competition that year. So I'm like in bed, dying, up until like 5 minutes before I was supposed to go on stage. I'm like, hey, show must go on. You know how it goes, right? So you drag yourself up and you do it. So, but anyway, that's my little story. I'd love to do drag. I would love to because I love the performance aspect of it, and I'd love to be able to do the makeup. I just can't handle it though.
I got my makeup bag in my purse if you want to play around.
Honestly, I believe you. I believe in you. Like, just. Yeah. I feel like if you just put on the powders and hope for the best, then, like, I believe in you. You just do a smoker. And so many performers I know don't wear false lashes because they make them really uncomfortable because everyone's eye shapes are different. For me, I love a false lash, so I could not imagine a false lash.
That's just the teeth. I'm glad you got it in the corner. Nobody else got that. It's a lash stroke zero. But yeah.
Yeah, I love false lashes.
You could also do like club kid drag.
Yeah, club kid.
Do we know what club kids are up here?
No.
Yeah,
Got a little bit of
this
that?
is for your
Teach us.
We'll get a little bit of your history. You're getting like multiple panels in one. Okay, so do you know ballroom culture?
No.
Bits and pieces?
Yes,
Okay,
that's
so
like voguing.
yeah, if we're going full nutshell, ballroom culture, 60s, Harlem, New York, a lot of like what you see with like, what I do a lot of this is like your applause. There's categories that you walk, and it was mostly Latinx and Black communities. But in New York, there's a category in this particular event called Club Kid, and it's usually Club Kid face, nowadays in Vancouver at least. But there were also just people who went to clubs. So you think of Studio 54. A lot of people were in ballroom when they were involved with Studio 54, and they would show up. Like Grace Jones would be like the most iconic one I can think of, my icon. But club kids, like Lee Bowery, for example, if you don't know who that is the best example I can give you to Google. They are known for their like over-the-top looks, and it's usually something head to toe. It's crazy makeup. It's something that doesn't necessarily look like drag. It's kind of meant to subvert gender and play around with like a concept more than it is with like crossplay or like playing around with like a visual of like male-female binary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Club Kid would be like, I mean, you did Club Kid stuff.
Yes,
I did
I love
too when I
Club
first
Kid.
started drag, just because I found it to be easier to play around with it than it was to try and be like hot. Does that make sense? Like you could throw glitter and like swatches of color. You could do like crazy big lips. You could do things with no lashes. You could match your color of your makeup to your outfit. You could paint it blue. Like it's a very open idea. But I feel like you would have fun with it. It'd be like, and you would serve. You perform live. So like.
Oh yeah. Also, like another like thing about a club kid performance, or just performance now, they do like fabric masks. So Lee Bowery was very famous for that. So like you could like I sometimes have waking nightmares that one day I'm gonna wake up and be allergic to all my makeup, and my backup plan is I'm just gonna do masks. But it's just like yeah, I have one outfit where it's basically just like imagine like like those ski masks that like robbers.
The balaclava.
Yeah,
Balaclava.
It's basically I made like a balaclava out of floral fabric. And yeah, you just put a hat on top of it, and it matches, and the fabric is in the rest of the outfit, and people think that you like are really good at drag. And it's great because I wear that outfit when I only have time to do lipstick and eye.
You're a baby drag, I'm an infant drag.
That's why we're here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very informative. I love this. All right, we're at the halfway mark already, believe it or not. Time just flies. It's insane. Okay, tell us more about the local Vancouver drag scene and like what clubs, what places put on shows, what would, if you want to, what you would avoid, but you don't have to go there. Third, there we go.
Wait, what?
I will not confirm it. No, I'll just talk about this.
Okay.
I'll start with that. So, like, obviously I'm newer to the drag scene, so if I'm wrong, just push me. But like, the way that I've experienced drag is, there's like the West End drag, so that's like Davie Street, And then there's also like East Side Drag, where there's actually one of like, I'm university educated, oh my gosh. And one of my favorite articles I read is about the queer nightlife scene in Vancouver specifically. I think it was written by Stillweg and Gazani. I don't know what their name is. I just cited them so many times. But they talked about how East Side Drag consists of a lot of pop-up events. So like one of my favorite venues in the city is the Birdhouse. Has anyone been to the Birdhouse? Love the Birdhouse. So the Birdhouse is, I think, owned by Queer Based Media. No, like Queer Based Media does a lot of events in the Birdhouse. And before the Birdhouse, when I first started doing drag, it was East Side Studios. And I think before East Side Studios, it was the Birdcage. There's been a lot. So basically, like, I think what they do is they rent out buildings that are like, they temporarily have access to. And East Side Studios is now basically where the new hospital is being built, over by Science World-ish. So yeah,
Milton Avenue.
Yeah, Milton Avenue, yes. So East Side Studios was there, but then they're like, okay, we're building a hospital now. And then the Birdhouse is 44 West 4th Avenue, and which I love because it's so easy to remember. And they do a lot of amazing events there. But yeah, I love doing drag all around. And yeah, we've done some at the Rec Room in Burnaby. Yeah, so that's lovely. And oh yes, I've done shows in Langley. I'm friends with the performer that does it in Langley. And that's Stella Rose. I love Stella Rose. And then there's also, I think Carrie Dawn does that with Langley. No, further than Langley. Yeah, Fort Langley, yes. So like drag is everywhere. It's really great. I even know a couple performers I haven't met in person, but I like DM them. They look great. Who will do like in Kelowna and whatnot. But yeah, the furthest I've gone is just I did perform on Courtney in Vancouver Island for the first time. So that was fun. Yeah, but yeah. So Vancouver drag, like one thing that is really interesting about Vancouver drag is I think we are some of the most well-paid drag performers in the world. Because like we didn't actually unionize, but we basically all just kind of like from my end it feels like we all silently agreed to stop saying yes to gigs that only pay us $20. So you could get paid around like 50 to 300. One time I performed for the Vancouver Canucks, and that paycheck was I think $800.
Whoa!
So that was good. So yeah, that was a lot of imposter syndrome of like, oh my gosh, I know I'm like whatever, but you know it was great. It was great. Thank you, Vancouver Canucks. You paid my for a lot of things. But yeah, so yeah, so like. In the past, people talked about how like West Side and East Side drag felt like kind of separated, but now I feel it's sort of blending now. Because there's just a lot of old articles I've read where like in the 2010s, like a lot of East Side drag consisted of like a lot of drag kings and drag things. And then the West End was just maybe just queens. Whereas now, like, there's a lovely mix. Support your local drag kings. Has anyone watched that new like drag king reality show, The Drag?
Wait.
Oh my god, you should watch it. It's so good. But I watched like a couple episodes. Don't worry. But like, yeah. So drag now is way more than just the conventional, like what you see in RuPaul's Drag Race. Because as much as I love RuPaul's Drag Race, that is not. It's rooted drag. Drag Master, RuPaul's Drag Race done effed up drag. There is some truth to that. Because it's like it's really excluded non-binary and women and also just like trans people. So like obviously love Drag Race. I auditioned once. They did not say yes, obviously. But it's basically like now Vancouver drag I feel is obviously I'm biased because I live here, but I feel it's like really at the forefront of the conversation for like drag kings, because we have a drag king collective called Long Live Kings that actually has a YouTube series that you should definitely watch, and it consists of Skim, Percy Craig, and Jay. Oh God, I think it's Jay. I'm pretty sure their name's Jay. Yeah. And yeah, so they're doing a lot of promotion for drag kings, and there's also like so many really established drag king performers in Vancouver, like Genesis and Androgynous. They're all so amazing. But yeah, I could ramble about Vancouver drag for a really long time, but someone please go, otherwise I'll talk about it.
So I'll give a little context into like more of the. It's interesting. So as a trans woman doing drag, it's an interesting conversation because a lot of people kind of look at me like, you do drag, but usually I think of drag as being like a man dressing as a woman, or a drag king, or even like non-binary drag, like drag thing, or like club kid. So it's an interesting community to try and fit into, but it's funny because when you go back further, especially in Vancouver, a lot of the drag scene is sort of, I don't want to say started, but perpetuated further by really well-known trans women in the city. So you know Jaylene Time?
Yes, Jaylee.
If you watch Drag Race, if not, that's no big deal. She was really influential for me. My drag family, we're all trans women. So there's 4 of us all together. We do sort of different events, and there's a lot of, we're talking about like East Side versus West Side drag. I live close to the West End, so most of my drag that I do is in that area. And it's more traditional drag when I think of like doing a lip sync, like going to do the number at the club, it's a bar, they serve French fries, it's that kind of energy. But then my most recent like out of town show, I was in Montreal, and we did it as like a fundraiser for ASTEC, which is like a sexual health care organization in Montreal, and that was girls from all around the country came together, and it was an all trans cast, trans man, trans femme, and that was more like cabaret, and that's more what I lean into. It's why I think cosplay is kind of separate for me now almost, where I get to lean into the things I really love, and when I do the cabaret and more of like the bookable gigs, that's what I'm doing because I do it for, not the money, you don't make a lot of money doing drag unless you're like top tier, but I do it because I enjoy it, and I like being on stage, and I like performing. So doing gigs in the city, I used to kind of float back and forth when there was still that really big divide between the east side and the west side. A lot of the east side queens that I grew up around in Vancouver, I've been in Vancouver for about 10 years, they really mesh together now, like Carrie was saying. Before there was such a divide. And to be honest, in every community, there's a lot of infighting. And I'm sure we all know this, in any community you're in, there's always going to be somebody saying something, or something going on, or some sort of drama. And I think the one way to sort of move through it is to really not give it life. You still work with the people you like, you have wisdom when it comes to choosing your gigs and who you're working with, where you're going, but if you're trying to do it seriously to make money or to survive, it's a very slim margin, and you have to like really dedicate all your time. Now, what Carrie said with like payment in the city, we have a lot of opportunity in Vancouver. I go, like when I was in Montreal, I have a friend who does brunches, everything all the time. She survives on drag. She makes all of her costumes. You can follow her if you like, she's incredible. Her name is Serena on Instagram. Love her, but they don't really get paid for the booking. They kind of show up and they work for tips. And to be honest, with what I do, I mostly work for tips in my industry. I mean, this might be, see, we're not 18 plus, but like I work in burlesque and I work in other industries, so that's more like tip-based instead. So that's where, again, there's like all these different categories of like how people do drag, but they might also strip, or they might also do cosplay, or they might be an event producer or an MC. Like there's so many different ways to sort of make money or to get involved with the drag scene, and you don't necessarily have to be like a lip sync performer in order to be successful with it. I think a lot of people in town actually you do wigs too.
Yes.
A lot of people do wigs, a lot of people sew, a lot of people do alterations. I do makeup for people. I work as a makeup artist, so it's like my main day job. Not that I make any money from it, but it keeps me going and it keeps me practiced, and it also helps me to help other people get into drag for the first time, if that makes sense. I'm rambling about now. Where was I going with this?
Well, I mean, it's these children better learn the knowledge that you're spreading.
My long story short of it is that, like, as a trans performer, it's sometimes complicated to be like, I do drag, because then people kind of look at you through this weird lens, and they're like, what? Like, what do you mean? And then the conversation can sometimes get awkward, but I think it's important to just kind of power through, do what you like, success will come to you if you really, really love it. Do it anyway. The amount of gigs I've done for free, there's a lot of opportunity to do what we call spotlights in Vancouver, and a lot of us will get our start doing spotlights. You know, I mentioned the chic wool earlier, where I have my wig slip back. That show is all free. You show up because you're in drag, and most of what I do is like, I'll go to a gig, and then, for example, today, I leave after Anirevo, and I go to a private party in Langley. So like, you don't know where you're gonna end up. You might do something completely different than what you're doing earlier in the day. You might have a full day of drag, but you kind of just roll with the punches and take what you can get, and then sometimes the booking will come along, and hopefully that will turn to like a partnership, or something that you can like use your other skills to do. Transferable skills, we love them.
Yes. Yeah, I love it so much. It's such a very flexible art form. Like,
It is.
people, like, on the base level, people think it's like man versus woman, which is like, we are so far past that in the scene. Like, at this point, like, drag can really be almost anything. And like, obviously that is a weakness because we like to have definitions or whatever. But like, drag can do a lot.
I think cosplay is not, I don't want to like toot y'all's horns, but like cosplay is kind of superior in a way because they've been doing that for a lot longer than I think the mainstream drag scene has. Like with like crossplay and things like that, like people are a lot more open to different like interpretations of characters. Whereas drag is usually populated by a lot of people who have been in the scene forever and are very protective of their art form and not really flexible to the ways of the world changing. Whereas like, I don't know, I think that's why I vibe with cosplayers now, is because like, I know a couple of them who have shifted to drag and their background and their transferable skills, they are at a level above already, like off the get-go, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It's definitely so weird because like drag is entangled with all these like political histories.
Yes.
Whereas so like cosplay, it's not as much. So it has a bit more flexibility and freedom to do certain things.
There's a bit more privacy to it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like events like this, there's like, I mean, DragCon is kind of a thing, but it's so, it is very politically charged.
Yes, it's very cool. Which honestly one is one of its strengths, but can be one of its weaknesses because it causes a lot of infighting. A lot of infighting.
Yes, very much that. That kind of like.
Yeah, that's like a good like sparks notes of like Vancouver drag.
Vancouver drag.
It's a very rich history.
Yes, very rich history, very wide variety of performers. We have some of the best drag in the country,
Oh,
and we
for
have
sure.
some of the most drag performers I've seen, maybe outside of Toronto.
Oh yeah. And then Toronto does drag completely differently than Vancouver, which is one of my favorite things to learn about. And learn how different drag is, because here it's basically do 1 or 2 numbers and go home. Toronto is you have 30 minutes to fill. Get on stage and buck diva.
Yeah, I like a 2 by 2 foot square stage.
Yeah.
It's Puerto Vallarta. It's
Yeah.
very like, you're
It's
kind of
crazy.
wiggling.
Like yeah, one of my friends moved to Toronto and they like are like one of like the mainstays of Toronto Drag now. They're like they're Z, I love Z, and they won like I think it was a ballroom competition, and then that just they skyrocketed their career. They were like headlining Toronto Pride last year, and I love every time they come visit. We always meet up, and I love talking to them about the differences of drag because they did Vancouver drag and Toronto drag, and it's just so interesting to hear how like. You know, there are cultural differences, and it's really amazing to hear how the queer scene is different all across the country and the world.
There's also a lot of venue differences too. I would say like when you think of West End drag in Vancouver, it's a lot of bars, like I said, like serving food. East Side drag was a lot more like restaurants to begin with, but now more like warehouse spaces, and like you fill a room. I'm going to Nova Scotia to do drag in late August, so I'll figure that out. I've never done drag over there. It's where I'm from. Shout out to the East Coast, everyone's from out there. See you in the back. Where are you from?
My mom's from Nova Scotia.
Okay. Okay, good. We're like 1 degree away. Close to that. And they apparently, from what I hear, because I do some pretty like, I do skimpy drag, but in Vancouver, you kind of do whatever you want. In Nova Scotia, there's a lot more law about like what you can do in a bar. So they do more like dinner theater drag and like brunches and things like that.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah, I saw someone pour soup on themselves in Vancouver.
What?
Dyslexia, you made a mess. So yeah, you really can't do anything. One time I covered my face in Elmer's glue and just peeled it off. So like Vancouver drag is so weird, and I think I saw someone like in Toronto make fun of like y'all just do whatever you want and then make a call-out post in the same day. It's like yeah, that is Vancouver drag to a T.
It's interesting about the rules that we're talking about because it's similar in Japan with cosplay. When you go to conventions, you can cosplay at the convention, but as soon as you leave, you have to take it off.
Yeah, they have cosplay areas.
Really?
It's very crazy. But their conventions are nothing like this. Like, this is definitely a Western or even European stuff. Like it's like but in Japan, it's like more corporate, like that kind of stuff, and it's so yeah, very much so. We have about 14 minutes left. One thing I kind of pitched to you guys a little bit before the start of the show was, would you be interested in doing a quick improv little dance? Just to get, I don't know.
We don't know the words, so
Do
don't.
you know Abracadabra? By Lady Gaga?
Oh, anything to ABBA?
What?
Do you, like, what did you ask?
I was saying, do you know Abracadabra by Lady Gaga?
Okay,
I was going to say brown eyed girls, but okay, work.
Yeah, I know how to do that.
Did you guys want to do just a quick little, if you do, no, that's totally fine.
You know what? I'll hit the music.
Just to give you guys an idea of what to expect for the drag show.
I don't even know the lyrics.
All right.
That's when you go watermelon kind of like.
That was awesome. Thank you guys so much for doing that. That was great.
You know what? We got to be thrown into the volcano at some point.
Exactly. I'm used to doing drag in horrible lighting.
Now, I was thinking, do we want to take some questions from the audience?
Of course.
If anybody has any questions, I can't bring up the microphone, but if you guys want to come up here, you're more than welcome to.
We don't buy it anymore.
Anymore? Elaborate.
I used to buy it. It was during my woo years. I would buy people because it was funny.
Hey, that's legit. That's totally fine. So. All right, let's talk about the drag show that we're going to be doing in a little bit here. It's at 6 o'clock in room 109, 110. Of course, we have all the performers here. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about your numbers, or do you want to keep it kind of in suspense? What are you going to do?
I was going to answer, and then I'm like, you know what?
You better come.
You better come.
You better come. Also, tips. I brought a lot of loose $5 bills. You can e-transfer me.
That's a respectful way to ask or to mention all your rooms.
Yes, because like it's a very fun part of drag culture, like to hold down that $5 and not wave it around to do this. To stand still and politely hold down the hold up the $5 bill, and the drag performer will come up to you and give you a little show and then grab the $5 and leave. But it's a very fun part of drag, and it's a great way to support queer artists. So I like money.
I've heard that before. Like, there's a lot of people that they just sit there and go like this, or like they kind of get in the way of what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So like you could wave it to the beat, but like what I like to do, because I'm very self-conscious and I have undiagnosed something, I don't know. Like for me, the formula of tipping a drag performer, because I've overthunk this so much, is you take out the $5 bill, you kind of dance around when they're far away from you, but when you're nearby, you'll be like, I got this for you, Diva. They'll make eye contact with you, and you'll feel like you're going to Elysium, Disco Elysium. I just yeah.
If you're at a very crowded club, it's called picking the cabbage. You go around, you're the performer, everybody's holding up their money, and they call it this in the States because it's green money. And you go and you harvest everything all at once. Sometimes you have it, you count it, you do something campy, maybe you throw it, whatever, but It's just fun.
It is so fun. I mean, you're fierce with it. I'm like really bad with the money. So like, I always wear gloves, so I'm like grabbing it. It's falling out, and the feelings is so confident and everything. And then I just kind of chuck it behind me. And so I can continue my number because I can only focus on like 30 things a jump, like 2 things at once.
I'm a bit more corporate. I kind of stack it all together, I put it politely, and then after the show, if anybody likes merch, then I go and I do the little peddling of my wares afterwards as well.
So here's another question. How do you have specific artists that you always go to for your songs, or how do you choose?
Kylie Minogue. I love Kylie Minogue so much. Like, I didn't really, like, so there's always a joke that like, oh my god, gay people always have their divas, like, oh, they love Lady Gaga, they love Mariah Carey. I didn't think I was one of them until my playlist just started consisting of more and more Kylie Minogue. And then, like, when I didn't know what to perform, I put all of her music on a giant wheel and spin it, and then I just do whatever the wheel ended on. So yeah, but I also like performing like electric light orchestra because I love YOLO. Oh, I love Blondie. Blondie is really good. Oh, and I love D-Light. D-Light is so good. Most people already know like Groove is in the Heart, but I perform like a lot of their songs. But yeah.
Me, I do a lot of Tuvelo. Do we know Tuvelo? Yes.
Yes.
You know, a little moment like that, Petrus.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of like, when I like, if I do strict routines, then it's like, Rammstein.
You're so good.
Evanescence.
Iconic.
I do a lot of, do you know Nightwish?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, love a Nightwish. I do a Mean the Siren. I love that. So I'll just like bellowing out, pretending you're singing. Who else do I do a lot of? A lot of Fergie. Did a lot of Black Eyed Peas in my Club Kid days. I love a lot of Lily Allen. I do a lot of, what else do I do? I do a lot of the same songs. And to be honest, when you're doing stuff for free, like at a spotlight, you kind of do what works for the venue. So like I kind of make little mixes and things. We did one for fandom. It was like a kind of a cosplay show at the Birdhouse, and it was like, so I'm gonna make a mix with like video game background music and stuff like that. Or like, yeah, I don't know, did a lot of big Aneta mixes.
And what would you choose?
So more of it is like whenever I felt a connection to. That's how I chose actually my songs. Yeah, and like what I loved as a kid.
That is a very wise way to choose your music.
Oh my gosh, yes. I have like a playlist of music that like it would not work at the clubs at all, but it is so terribly online and I want to do it so bad. Lemon Demon. Will Wood. Yes.
A pop named Scooby-Doo. Yeah.
Like when I was choosing songs for tonight, I was low key wanting to do Backstreet Boys.
So drag. But she was a drag. I watched the drag king dump like a gallon of water on himself. Doing that.
I totally would.
Yeah.
But then I ruined it.
Yeah. If I was to do it, I would choose weird, obscure stuff. Probably Yumi Hamasaki, like Utari Hikaru. Lots of Eurovision, because I'm a massive Eurovision fan. Loreen, probably Senhita, I love her, she's from San Marino. She's crazy, and that's right up my alley. So, something Spanish too, like but even like kid songs, like I said, you know, like Pop Named Scooby-Doo, or things like I grew up with, like back in the days. Just the campiness.
Hannah Montana ice cream food.
Celine Young, of course, Cher, you know.
Oh, love Cher. Love Cher.
Yeah. Brittany, oh, Brittany.
Do a lot of James Bond theme music.
Awesome. Okay, we have about 5 minutes left. So I'd like you guys to plug your social media, your shows coming up, anything that you'd like to talk about to get yourself out there.
This is it. Okay, so my Instagram is karaoke dokie, that's CARRIE_OKI_DOKI. I don't have TikTok because I'm lazy and I don't want to doom scroll. And I think I have a Facebook, but I don't use it. And I don't have an X. And I have a Threads because Instagram, but I only use Instagram. And also future shows. I kind of get booked sporadically, so I don't really have a own show right now. But you can basically see me on Davie Street. I'd like to do a lot of like weeknight shows, but since I'm going back to school, I'll be doing it less. But I think the only show I have coming up is, oh wait, two. I have, I think next Tuesday, I'll be in Stanley Park doing drag outside. So it's like a free, like it's Evo Car Share, just like a free outdoor theater, in the summer, and so it's next Tuesday. And I'm just like gonna warm up the crowd and do a couple of drag numbers and then leave. And then, I don't remember the date, but if you live in South Delta, Latin Pride is coming up, and I've been performing at Latin Pride for the past 2 years. It's one of my favorite Pride events, so definitely if you're gonna see you there, but that is a deep cut because Latin's not that far away, but it's a bit of a ways away. Yeah.
Okay. For shows, I do more pop-up stuff just because I live in the village. So I'm usually out at Numbers on Fridays for Triple X with Ms. Zana. We do a lot of stuff on Saturday at the Junction, sometimes Sundays. I will be at Numbers on Sunday this weekend and Junction on Saturday in the evening with Weeby from Call Me Mother. I do, again, sporadic stuff. I have my link tree has everything in it. I usually put my shows there anyway. It's on my Instagram. My Instagram is at Isabellissima. So I'm sure you're all smart and can sound that out. ISABELLISSIMA. I also have my QR code on my merch. So if you scan that, it will take you and show you everything upcoming. My merch is lighters, so you are never without a flame to go. I have 5 of them left if anybody would like one later, and then you'll have access to all of everything all the time. What else do I have coming up? Not really anything. I'm leaving to go back to Nova Scotia on the 22nd, so I'll have some shows there, but I don't think any of you will be there, so you can see them online anyway. But yeah, usually in the village is where I float around. I love coming to events like this, so even if I'm not performing, I still like to come with friends and just do cosplay and fun stuff. Yes? What's your question?
Are you going to Halifax?
I'm going to Halifax to do drag, so I'm from like rural Nova Scotia, so I'm going to be in there a couple times, but yeah, why? I'm curious.
When I went to Halifax in 2017, they had a whole group of drag kings, and I was so happy that I was there during Pride, so I got to see a bunch of their shows.
Yes, and they're still there too. I'm going to see a couple of them when I'm there. So they have a new bar if you're ever in Nova Scotia. Very complicated history with like venues being open and closed. I believe it's the Starlight or something like that. It's a new like venue that's like just drag. It's all they do. It's like a venue dedicated just to drag events. But yeah, I don't really have anything else coming up. I sometimes do sporadic events around town. I sometimes am working at the Penthouse. So if you are of age and love sexy things, I do that. Let me say one more time. Yeah.
We're really good question.
I say one more question.
I just wanted to say, because you mentioned Bibi, and my oldest brother actually does wigs and costumes for.
I live. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, that is
Small city, I
amazing.
love that. That's one thing after moving to Vancouver. Side note, this city is so small and I love it. It felt so big when I moved here and so intimidating, but like literally everybody knows everyone. And I know some of you who grew up here are probably like, I hate that. Me coming from a town of like 20,000 people from like even less, I live for that. Anyway.
Yeah, I ran into a drag performer friend while I was on vacation in Tofino, and we didn't realize it was each other because we used to only see each other in drag. It was until it was me until I opened my mouth, and I obviously have a very distinct voice.
Your Instagram?
Yes, my Instagram is Shukley Cosplay. It's XIUKUI Cosplay. And most of it is just cosplay and horses. So if you love horses, hey. Yeah.
Do you cosplay with them like on?
So I actually have a photo shoot I'm planning as Kaya on my horses.
That's amazing.
So actually, my friend Moon, Cosplay Shadow, they did a link photo shoot on my horses.
That's
And
crazy.
huge.
That's
So I guess it's a dream
amazing.
come true for actually horses. Yeah. And they were like X-race horses, so they were kind of scared.
Too bad there's not a Blitz cosplay in the
But
class.
after the whole shoot was done, like my horses were so good. The one is only 3 years old and it's only been back like 5 times. And they were done hideous. So I'm like,
Wow.
so that's my goal actually for this summer is the Cavalier on horseback.
That's
And
amazing.
then I also have Boot Hill planned. Yes.
That is crazy. We're just lip syncing in bars. You're like, my horses.
Days talking about horses. I am crazy horse.
Well, thank you guys very much for this. I think it's fun to do a panel before the show to actually get people to know you a little more. And hopefully you guys will be there. Are you planning on going to the show today?
Yeah.
Awesome. Please give our guests a round of applause. And if you're looking for me, I'll be performing all throughout the weekend myself here at Anirevo. That's about all I do. So. But thank you guys so much for coming in. There's a lot more, especially queer content this weekend as well, which works really well with Pride. The Pride Parade is on Sunday. I don't know if any of you are planning on going to that as well too, but
Yes, fun fact, Canada's first Pride Parade was in Vancouver and I think Montreal. So that's why we do it in August, even though it's so hot. It's history.
thank you all for us. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, thank you.